Tragedy in Arizona overnight after 19 firefighters lost their lives in a wildfire sparked by lightning on Friday. It is Monday, July 1st. Welcome to Lunch Break. I'm Wendy Bounds. The firefighters were part of an elite crew known as the Hot Shots, who work on the front lines of some of the region's worst fires. Join us now by phone. Less than a mile from the site of the wildfires is Arizona Department of Forestry Information Officer Art Morrison. Art, thank you so much for being here. Now, I know you are no stranger to fighting these disasters yourself, having been on the front lines with the U.S. Forest Service. Tell us a little bit about the conditions these hot shots were working under, and did they have to deploy any kind of emergency coverage for themselves, any emergency fire shelters?
Yes, what happened, we had some thunder cells come over, and it made rains very erratic, and all these firefighters have an escape route as well as a safety zone predetermined and picked out. They deployed their shelters in the safety zone, but because of the nature of the fire behavior, it just didn't. They weren't effective.
And these shelters, could you describe them a little bit to us? Do they dig down into the earth and then sort of put a fire retardant tent over them? Am I describing that correctly, Art?
Yeah, it's kind of a tent. You put your face with your helmet on, very close to the ground, and the shelter is designed to reflect the heat. But, I mean, it isn't fireproof. It's just last-ditch effort whenever you find yourself in a tough spot.
And the weather, of course, affecting the changing nature of this fire. Tell us all a little bit about how difficult that makes their job out there.
Well, it makes it much more difficult because any time that you have high winds and shifting winds, or especially when there's a thunderstorm that comes by, winds just go every direction. There's downdrafts, and it can just shoot the fire all over the place. And hopefully we may have more of that fire behavior this afternoon, but so far it's real calm. The winds are light, but we are expecting more thunder cells to come through.
And to put in perspective for those of us who are not firefighters, I mean, I understand these guys, these hot shots, that they're sort of the Navy SEALs of sort. They sort of march into the front line of the fire with chainsaws. Are they trying to take out bushes, debris, anything that might catch fire and allow the fire to continue, Art?
Yes, that's the whole purpose of doing what we call hand line. Just get in there with chainsaws, plasties, and make a line right down to the mineral soil, and then remove that brush and throw it on the unburnt part of where the fire is coming to. And then hopefully then the fire just backs into that fire line, and since there's no fuel, it ends right there at the fire line.
Now, by last count, we were looking at the fire to have spread at least to 2,000 acres, 200 homes destroyed. Do you have any updated figures on that?
Well, actually, the latest information is that yesterday afternoon the fire reached 8,400 acres.
That's
there was a substantial increase, and again, that's just because of the weather and the dry conditions and high temperatures and relatively low humidities.
And what is the last-ditch effort you have, Art, after this? If these weather conditions continue to be so tricky, what's left to fight this fire?
Well, if you're in a shelter, we're trained to never get out of the shelter. I mean, you just must stay there and just kind of pray for the best.
All right, Art Morrison, thank you so much for being with us. He's the information officer with the Arizona Department of Forestry. He's just about a mile away from where these wildfires are burning. 19 firefighters have died trying to put out that blaze, and we will continue to update you on WSJ.com about this.